What's going on, everybody? Salute to everybody in the chat. I know I'm a little bit late. I told y'all what my issue was. But what's going on to everybody in the chat? Shout out to Darlene, Seychelles, Alana, Vin, Malaje, Paradigm, T101, Brian Mason. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I don't know why there is a bright circle on the screen, but on my screen I can see my picture. I don't know what that's about. But you won't be seeing much of this icon for pretty much most of the stream anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I know I said I was a little bit late, but my laptop, for some reason, when I was opening it up, it was stuck on the screen, so I had to reboot it. Luckily for me, I was able to restore all the tabs that I had open before closing down the laptop, because that's how I'm gonna do it today, instead of me going back and forth between tabs like I was doing the last couple of streams. But here we are again on another Friday. So you know what that means. Friday is stream day, my weekly live stream. How has everybody's day been? How's everybody's week been? I don't know about y'all or where y'all at, but it is hot as hell where I'm located. It is hot. Like, according to my phone, it is 93 degrees, and it feels every bit of it. And I think it's humidity on top of it, but it is scorching where I'm at right now. Thank God for air conditioning. Make sure if y'all haven't done so already to share the stream on your social media platforms. I know some of you follow me on Twitter, so make sure that you go ahead and do that. If you have a Facebook page, share it there. Hell, if you have an Instagram page, share it there. We want to get as many eyes as possible. Make sure you also like the stream. When it has more likes, the more the algorithm picks it up, and it will distribute it out to as many people as possible. Okay, I've seen people that saying it's hot where they at good. Well, it's good to know that I'm not the only one that's blazing hip hop and R&B, because it is hot over here. But on another note, this week was the first week that I got back into the gym, like in a gym, since March. And it's crazy because I was getting ready, like my trainer, they were about to have me go through a cut regimen, basically like cutting down on fat so the muscles can show, basically showing my progress when I was bulking for the last few months to almost a year. And that got cut short, literally, when we got hit with the virus. So we had to do at-home workouts, and then we did virtual training through Zoom. And then this is the first week. Then we did outdoor workouts at a school, and then now we're back in the gym for the first time this week. And let me tell you something, it felt like my very first day training. It felt like the very first day. If you just got the notification, we're just getting started. I just got started. I didn't get started right at 4:00. But yeah, it feels good to be back in that gym, lifting and pumping that iron. You know, the home workouts had to do. The outdoor workouts, that was different. But I'm just glad to be back in that gym. We're definitely playing it safe while we're in there, because you know, with everything that's going on, you don't want to take any risks. But as y'all can see by the topics that are on your screen, we have a lot to talk about today. And of course, you know, it says and more. So you know that means it's going to be way more that's going to be discussed other than what you see on your screen. Jalil, I saw what Essence did this week. And yeah. I'm not going to touch on that. If you want to hear about that, you can go to Tariq's page, go to his channel, because he talked about it. And it is absolutely disturbing in more ways than one. Rap God, we're going to talk about him. He's actually going to be he's actually a topic I have yet to talk about on my channel. and didn't plan on doing a pre-recorded video about. So that's why I purposely saved him for today. You probably never heard of him, but you probably have heard about his antics. If you are on YouTube, you definitely have heard of him. Even if you don't look or subscribe to his channel, which I would highly suggest that nobody subscribe to him. But with that being said, since we started a little bit late, I'm going to go ahead and get started. No need to actually drag it out. So what I'm about to do is share my screen, and we're going to hop right into these topics. So the first thing I want to talk about today is the NBA painting or plans to paint the Black Lives Matter on the courts in Orlando. I don't know if any of you have heard about this, but basically it's more pandering that they're doing here. And to be honest, knowing how Black Lives Matter gets down, I could really care less. It's just more pandering politics, in my honest opinion. How many of you have heard about this right here? Like I said, it's more pandering, and I just did a video about Malcolm X and talking about how people pander to us, and it doesn't really mean much of anything. But you know that you're trying to do the start of the NBA season down in Orlando and have that be the central location for it, since they can't travel to play because of the virus, because the arenas aren't open, so they can't travel, and that would literally be a flight risk, quote unquote. And this isn't the only, it's funny you say that about empty gestures, Tina. This isn't the only one. Did you hear what the NFL planned to do? Put a 1 in the chat if you heard what the NFL plans on doing. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard what the NFL plans on doing. Okay, I see 1. I see Vin Malaja said 1. Interesting you say that, Alana, because Florida does have a lot of virus cases down there. Okay, so I see a lot of people said 1. If y'all don't know what the NFL is planning on doing, they said they are going to play the Black National Anthem before the start of every game in the upcoming season. Lift every voice and sing. That's what they say. That's what they plan to do with this upcoming season. Another empty gesture. I'm like, if you're not going to talk about these reparations and the cutting of this check, we don't want it. We really don't want it. And yes, I heard about the Redskins thing. They've been trying to change the name of the Redskins for years. Even before all of this happened, that conversation comes up almost every season, whether it's low key or high key. But this time they're really drilling it out there. And Dan Snyder ain't trying to budge for shit when it comes to changing that name. But like I said, Dan Snyder is not trying to come up off that name. I got so many notifications through this app that I have on my phone where they were talking about literally the Redskins name all day. You would think that it was a slow news cycle with the way they kept talking about it. It's trending all over Twitter. And apparently it's trending through this news app I have on my phone, because that's all they kept talking about was the changing of the Redskins name. But like I said, that's a conversation they've been having. Shout out to C Truth the Revelations, as we need to ramp up the talk for reparations and shut BLM down. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Who in here is familiar with the YouTuber Jay Lethal? Y'all should be, because I posted his content on my community tab a couple of times while we're talking about BLM. Because that's not a tab that I have open, but that was a video that he posted on his channel. So it was a video he posted on his channel today where you had people raising up two flags while yelling and chanting Black Lives Matter. One of the flags was the Academy flag. The other flag was the T-class flag, but the T-class flag had the Black Power fist on it. What does that tell you? Now they're really, really putting it out there, who they are and what they're representing and what their agenda is. Elliot, they're not even hijacking. If you saw my video that I recently did when I said the video called "The Skittle is Out the Bag," that video was basically telling you from the get-go the Academy that BLM was always about putting the Academy first before anybody else. They just used deceased male black male bodies who were heterosexual in order to push their narrative because they knew they couldn't get it any other way. So they weren't hijacking anything. That was their plan the entire time. That was all. Let me put it this way: BLM was always their movement. They just used deceased black male bodies to kick it off because they could not push it any other way. They knew no one would support it if people came right on out and said what it was about. They had to get people on board, and see, George Floyd was a major one right there because then it had the world saying Black Lives Matter. How ironic that they waited until after they got global support to now really put out there what they want. And how ironic George Floyd gets murdered the week before their quote unquote Pride Month. And then that's when they really spill the beans, or should I say spill the Skittles. It all makes sense now. That is their movement. Like I said, all you got to do is go look at their mission statement on their website. It tells you right there what they're all about. They're not about the nuclear family, man, woman, and child, unless you're two men and two women. They want to put the T class out in the front and let them be the leaders. They don't have anything about black men on their site, nothing of supporting them, but they'll be out there when they die so they can get more support monetarily. Why do you think they had to get rid of Darren Sills? Because he was about to spill the beans before they really came into fruition. I said that in my video. And the crazy thing is, like, why are they pushing that all Black Lives Matter thing when on their site it tells you who they cater to? If they don't include heterosexual black men, does all black lives really matter? Or do they all matter when it pushes your agenda? Now, I will say this: black people who don't support BLM because they know what it is way different than when white people say they don't support it. It's two different reasons as to why. Because white people always link BLM and Antifa together. Always. If you go and look through the comments, they always link BLM and Antifa together as if they are working together. When we talk about we don't like BLM, it's because of the agenda that the Academy is pushing. And see, white people, they probably are not fully well scoped into it because they probably don't look at the website. They only see it as a political thing. Let me move on to the next story. Family of Corin Gaines, 23-year-old, killed by Baltimore County Police in 2016, wins $38 million appeal in wrongful death lawsuit. When I saw this, I was like, that's interesting. Because if my memory serves me correctly, that offer was on the table back in 2017, 2016, and they snatched it away from him right at the last minute. Now, why did they bring this up 4 years later? Almost exactly 4 years later, because she was killed in August of 2016. That's what I'd like to know. Hold on, let me pause this. Remember back in 2016, they had offered her family $38 million and they got it. But right when they were getting ready to get that check, some little loophole came in and they took that check back. And now they're giving it to them. Don't get me wrong, the family more than well deserves that. Unfortunately, it's not going to bring her back. I still remember the day that happened. Like, they went up in there and killed that woman in front of her kids and almost killed her son. You know, the one that was in the hospital, and he was telling his aunt what was going on. They probably was mad they didn't take him out that day because he was a prime witness. And $38 million is a huge appeal, because it's rare that they give big payouts like that. Unfortunately, that's probably most likely going to come out of the taxpayers' pockets. And since I live in Maryland, that includes me. But yeah, I thought it was just interesting that they gave the money to this family now after 4 years. So imagine, they've been fighting this for 4 years. Salute Solo Doses, Rest in Paradise, Corin Gaines. And it's so crazy that you have a lot of fake people that's coming out speaking about this now. Back when she was killed, and they was looking at her videos and stuff leading up to her death, they were calling her crazy. They were calling her insane. They were saying, how dare she have her children in that type of environment? They were calling her a bad mother. They were calling her a bad person. And now they're coming out here saying and congratulating the family on getting this appeal. If you don't sit your fake ass down somewhere. I remember when you was talking all that shit about that woman back in 2016 and saying she's the how dare she put her children in danger like that. I'm like, they just busted up into her place and shot her on sight in front of her kids. And they was harassing her for weeks leading up to that. She practically had a target on her back. Yes, Ben Melandri, she was being harassed like for months. Like, they were pulling her over. Like, every time she drove somewhere, it seemed like they were just right there waiting to get her. Because I think she was like on that sovereignty tip. I think that's what they were saying. Like, she was trying to like doing the sovereignty stuff. But I will say this though, Corin Gaines went out with a bang because she was firing back at their ass. She was prepared. She had a little stockpile in her house. So she was firing back at them cops. She was like, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out like it's that movie Set It Off. But let me go on to the next story right here. I didn't get to do a Petty Pendergrass production, but I will give a round of applause to this devil finally dying. If this damn thing don't stay down so I can put some violin emojis in the chat for this devil finally kissing the dirt. If y'all don't know who Thomas Blanton is, and I think I talked about him a couple years ago, he was one of the guys that was responsible for killing those 4 girls in that Birmingham church back in the 60s. One of those girls was actually the sister to my elementary school principal. And I remember when Spike Lee did the documentary 4 Little Girls, which is probably my favorite Spike Lee documentary ever. She was interviewed in the documentary, and they had the whole school sit in the cafeteria and we all watched it. It's like I think the documentary is like almost 3 hours long, but it was a very good documentary. But he was one of the guys that was responsible for that. And he is the last one, as far as I know. He is. Yeah, he's the last one to die. Way too late, if you ask me. Yes, Alana, he died in jail. This wasn't a free man. He wasn't a free man. He was in jail for a long time. He basically was serving a life sentence. Too bad he didn't get the Jeffrey Dahmer treatment, but I would not be surprised if they had him in some kind of sectioned off place in that jail or wherever he was at to himself. But me personally, I would have left the door open. If I worked there, I would have left the door open by a quote unquote mistake. Look at that. He died at 82 for a crime he committed back in 63. Which means this guy was what, in his 30s when he did this? You're right, Bloody Pond lives. It did take them a while to even get him in jail because he didn't go to jail immediately. It did take him a while to get into jail. Now that I think about it, he didn't go to jail right away. I think he went to jail in the early 2000s. So you got to think, if he went to jail in the early 2000s, let's say he went in 2001, he only served 19 years. I'm just throwing a year out there, not saying that's the year he went in. But that would mean he only did 19 years, 18 and a half at the least, which means he spent more time out of jail than he did in. He just happened to die in jail. Because it's funny because when I watched the documentary about this case, I don't think his name was mentioned or he even came up in the documentary. I think they only talked about 1, maybe 2 guys. I need to go back and watch it. But I don't remember him coming up in the documentary. Just look at them hate-filled eyes. That's him back in the 60s. That's like right around the time after it happened. Oh, I didn't know his nickname was Dynamite Bob. I wasn't too sure. Oh, okay. Not him. Oh, that's who it is. Dynamite Bob Chambliss. That's the one that I remember. That was a creepy looking man back then. That Bob Chambliss, who was basically the ringleader. Not him, not the one on your screen. But that other one. That was a creepy looking man. Like he looked like a damn perv as well. Well, the maggots can feast on his flesh now. I hope they don't die of food poisoning, feasting on that flesh. Now let me go on to the next one. Now this one right here, I know all of you have heard about this one. Ghislaine Maxwell, aka Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, aka the Madam, has been arrested for the role she played in luring those women and girls to Jeffrey Epstein. Basically, she pulled an Allison Mack. You know how Allison Mack was leading and luring those girls to Keith Raniere? That's basically what she was doing. And she is now arrested. But if you look at the title of this article, it says powerful men are scared about what Ghislaine Maxwell will say. Now, they also said the same thing about Jeffrey Epstein, that they were scared about what he would say. And we all know what happened to Jeffrey. People are even taking bids on how long it's either A, going to take her to snitch, or B, take for her to disappear, quote unquote. Because you know, when they got Jeffrey Epstein, it was around this time last year. And when they found his body, it was towards the end of this month last year. It's amazing how all of this goes full circle. Now, a year later, they have her. I wonder, will Ghislaine Maxwell make it to the end of July, the beginning of August? The fact that they titled this the way that they did, they are shaking right now. And they are probably going to try to find a way to get to her before she opens up her mouth and starts spilling the beans. Because that's what they had to do to Jeffrey Epstein. Because he basically was the gatekeeper. Everyone came to him. But yeah, they said this woman lured many women and girls to Epstein. I think one of them even got pregnant by him. This is going to be very interesting, but I'm willing to bet that she's not going to make it to see 2021. It's July now. We got August, September, October, November, December. It's funny you say that laughing stock because Ashton just said that she's the daughter of a wealthy man from Britain, so you pretty much got it correct that she is apparently British born. Oh yeah, this woman has a lot. That woman has a lot of names on deck, probably locked away in some file. I'm curious though. See, that's the thing. People see a lot of people was mad when Jeffrey Epstein was eliminated. We'll just put it like that, because they wanted to know them names. They wanted to know what was in that little black book. But I think someone else had put it in here too. What took them so long to get her? Good question. And to be honest, I have no clue what took them so long to get her. And the thing is, she could have easily said something back then, but when she saw what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, she's like, you know what? I value my life. I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut. But it doesn't matter now because they got her in jail, and the fact that they have her arrested where she's at now, they gonna force that info out of her or try to. Epstein knew too much. She knows too much. That's why I said I don't think she's gonna make it out of 2020 to see 2021. But I am curious though, like what are the names? Like give us the names. We need to know those names who are in there in those files. But we already know it's like they said some powerful men. And as far as I'm concerned, probably some powerful women too. Let's not leave them out. Let's not act like they didn't go to the island either. Ellie, you said you probably bet Weinstein is that. Listen, Weinstein probably isn't everybody's book. Like, no one would be surprised if Weinstein popped up in any book. Amy Me says she will allegedly commit suicide in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. Just like Epstein did. He committed suicide. Okay. Yeah, if you believe that, I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you for free. And if you don't want to buy the bridge, you can jump off of that bridge without a bungee cord in hopes that you just bounce back up there. Where is Me Too? Good question. Waiting for their next R. Kelly fix. The fact that they said that powerful men are scared about what she'll say already lets you know that she knows too much. Because guess what? Not only did this woman help sex traffic these women and girls to Epstein, she also engaged in raping and molesting them as well. She engaged in the activity. That's why I said it plays out just like Allison Mack, but on a much, much bigger scale. It's funny, when I typed her name into the Google search bar, they pulled up pictures of random men, and Prince Andrew's face was one of the ones that came up. But it probably won't be long before we hear about her taking that nasty fall like Epstein. Well, Epstein didn't fall. He was he was he was swinging. Epstein was swinging. That's what happened with him. Let me go on to the next story. Look at this shit here. Ex-officer who fatally shot Rayshard Brooks released on bond. Garrett Roth, he had a $500,000 bond. At 10%, that is $50K that had to be paid, and it was paid, and he was released from jail. And you want to know the reasoning the judge gave as to why he got that bond? Because they say that he would have been a flight risk. I would not be surprised if the Coonstress had something to do with this, because if y'all remember, she was raising money through another platform that's not GoFundMe, because they banned her from that. She was raising money on another platform for him. And when I heard, it said that it was over already $200,000. It was actually more than that money that she raised for that racist bar owner down south. So I'm not saying that she did, but she did actually come out and say that she was going to raise money to put on his books. so he could get out on bond. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna leave her right there in the loop somewhere. But the fact that he was even given a bond is an issue. $500,000. You right up. Well, I'll take it a step further, Alana B. He should not have had a bond at all. Because they said that Rayshard Brooks' widow, when she found out about it, she came out and said that he shouldn't have been had a bond. Like, why did he even have one? And why was it so low? They act like $500,000 in this day and age with campaigns are not hard to come by. If people want to donate to campaigns in order to free somebody from some whatever, they're going to do it. Look at how much money George Floyd got in donations from around the globe. They said he has probably one of the most profitable GoFundMe campaigns ever. They said his family ended up raising like $13+ million. Shout out to Great Filibuster. He said B1. So, like I said, in the age of GoFundMe, in the age of these different campaigns, it's not hard to come by and raise this type of money if the cause is there. And since everybody in this establishment, well, most of the palm color ones on that Blue Lives Matter tip, feel that these cops are so oppressed right now and they need all kinds of assistance, this wasn't hard to do. And since they know it was only 10%, $50,000 is not hard to come by. And whatever money was left over, he's going to get. So let's say he got $200,000 plus in a GoFundMe. If $50,000 is what he needed to bond out, he now has $150,000 to do whatever he wants with it. They just basically said he has to wear an ankle monitor. He can't leave the state. He can't leave the county, or he pretty much can't go anywhere. And that's it. He probably can't have any contact with the family. He probably can't use social media. And that's pretty much it. Just your typical run-of-the-mill, slap on the wrist type of deal. Oh, the establishment known as America has been done. That the fork has already been put and poked into the food. It's been done. It is cooked. Shout out to Solo Dolo. He said he shouldn't be allowed to have a weapon. That's another one. They probably said that he can't have any firearms as well. Let me move on to the next one. Speaking of terrorist style cops, let's move on to this one. An update that has not really got much traction that needs it. Trial date, case deadline set for Minneapolis terrorist charged in George Floyd's death. It says the first trial will commence on March 8th, 2021 at 9 a.m. Is that the location of the trial will be determined at a later date. Now, from what I heard, these three, the Asian, the ambiguous one, and this Mitch McConnell lookalike, not Mitch McConnell, this Mitt Romney lookalike, all three of them actually showed up to the courthouse for the actual hearing of the trial date and everything like that. But the main one, this bastard right here on the far left, Derek Chauvin, he had to do his through virtual because he already knows if he step outside, them people gonna be waiting for his ass. But you know what? Some people will say that this is going to take too long while waiting and everything like that. I would rather this take time so the people on George Floyd's side can gather the evidence they need to actually get them convicted. Because you don't want to rush a trial. This is a very delicate trial that they're dealing with here. This is a huge trial that they are dealing with here, because you need to be on point. This has to be like some Johnny Cochran Dream Team type shit. Johnny Cochran, O.J. Simpson back in the 90s type shit. They have to be on point from beginning to in between at the end. The world is watching. You do not want to fuck this up. Trust me. And they want to make sure they don't want to mess this up. Why? Because they saw what happened after that video footage was released. Oh, them people going to be surrounding that courthouse when this trial happens. They're going to be out there every single day. They're going to be out there. It's going to look like a tent city. They're going to have tents. They're going to have sleeping bags. It's going to be like it's like, are you going to see a trial, or are you going to go wait for a new pair of J's? Because see, also, you've never seen so many cops on trial at one time. I think the last time that happened was probably Sean Bell, and we know what happened with that. And before that, you had Rodney King, and we know what happened with that. So they over 2. This one, they want to make sure that they get absolutely correct. So take as much time as you need to gather all your evidence. Make sure you have all your witnesses. Make sure you have all your questions and everything that you're going to ask. And, just prepare. Now, when they start playing the game of pushing stuff back, then that's when you got to worry. But for right now, this is the time to prepare and get all your stuff together. That gives them, it's July. You got August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. You have about roughly 8 months. Actually, less than that, because you would need to have all your stuff probably done at least by January. So, like I said, take as much time as you need to make sure you have all your ducks in a row, because you do not want to mess this case up. The world, like I said, is going to be watching. This is probably going to be one of the most high-profile cases since OJ. Shout out to Sean from the Shots. As always, make my day, nephew. Keep pushing. Appreciate you. They cannot afford to mess this up. And I also don't want no funny business either, because they're going to try something. They probably going to try something, but they better tread lightly because of what happened in May, at the end of May. You think it was something burning down that precinct? Let this thing come back the wrong way. Nobody's going to be leaving that courthouse except George Floyd's family. Okay, let's move on. Who heard about this? Who heard about this with 45? He just continues to dig a hole deeper and deeper for himself. So in the last live stream I did, I was talking about how he had tweeted out that it wasn't a live stream, it was a video, when he tweeted out that fake CNN image of the black boy running away from the white boy and tried to make it seem like the white boy was a racist or something like that. And it was pretty much deemed as unsolicited media or manipulated media. That's what they said. Now you have it where 45 tweeted or retweeted a video from this guy down in Florida saying white power. Shout out to DA29. And it is so, what's so funny is that you have a lot of his silly supporters who will come out in droves and say that, oh, it was a joke, it was taken out of context. You just gotta love the cover that they try to throw over something that was so blatant. And what's so crazy is he retweeted this onto his Twitter account and it stayed up there for hours. It stayed up there for hours. Shout out to you, Mark Stewart. It stayed up there, I think, for 3 hours. Like, you had this white guy on a golf cart. I think it was on a golf cart, yelling out white power, white power. He said it like 4 times. He said it about 4 times, and you could hear it clearly. It wasn't manipulated. It's not fake news. We all heard it. That man said white power, and then 45 retweeted it and put it onto his page. And I know his supporters like try to come to his defense and save face and everything in the public, but behind the scenes they probably saying, "What is this guy doing? We're trying to get him back in the office, and he is ruining it for himself." But they'll come to his defense and say that he isn't a racist. But what was also interesting was what he wrote in the comment after he retweeted it. He said, "Now that," and I'm paraphrasing, "now that there is a good person." I think he's having his coming to Jesus moment, and that happened when this virus kicked off. At first, he tried to brush it off and say what he said. But I don't know if y'all recently heard, but he came out and said that now he believes masks are appropriate, but he won't wear one. Because he's not going to allow his supporters to see him in what would be considered a vulnerable state. He considers himself vulnerable if he puts a mask on. See, Truth, the Revelator said, "You know what? I could be wrong, but maybe deep down Trump wants out." Someone else said that same comment. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants out, because now he realizes like he's in over his head. Now he actually has to be a president and do presidential things. Like, I think he realizes now more than ever that this is entirely too much. Like, and the fact that see, here's the thing. I would say in 45's first 3 years from not 3, but from 2017 to 2019, he had it pretty. I'm not gonna say light, but he wasn't dealing with so much. Coming into 2020, he had to deal with this virus and now what they call civil unrest, quote unquote, because of all the stuff that has been going on for the last couple of months. And the kicker is all of this is during an election year. Yes, I did, AB Media. Yes, I did hear Mr. 999 caught the woo woo. Caught the woo woo woo. Because he went out there without a mask and decided to give a little speech, and now he done caught the vid. Ask me how I feel. See, it's crazy. All those people, and I bet you Herman Cain was probably one of the people that tried to say that this that the Wuhan wasn't real, or it was blown out of proportion. Those are the people right there. I'm not going to say that I hope they get it, but I'll say this: should they get it, that's karma. I'll just leave it at that. Exactly, Vin Malaje. That's exactly how I feel. That's why I'm convinced. I'm more than convinced that 45 probably has or had that virus. Shout out to Decent D. It says, remember all 45 is a whole trust fund, baby. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. He did not work for anything he has. That's public knowledge. That's why he acts like a spoiled brat. This man is what, 73, 74, and acts like he acts like he's his youngest son's age. He probably is asymptomatic, for all we know. But 45 is a virus all in and of itself, though, to be quite honest. Because if you notice, Pence had started to wear the mask, and not in private like 45 wanted him to do. Like, he's actually out in the open wearing the mask now. He's like, bump this. He said, you can play Russian roulette with your life if you want to, but not me. So now you see Pence is out there wearing the mask now whenever he goes to different, appearances and whatnot. All right, let me move on from this. No, I do not want to subscribe to time. Okay, now here's the big one right here. This is one of the major stories right here. Who watching this in this chat is familiar with all the Shane Dawson fiasco that's going on right now? Let me say this again. This is the first and probably the only time I am going to talk about this guy right here. This is probably going to be the only time I talk about it. If you want to get more in depth about it, I would suggest you go watch Lovely T. Shout out to Kevin Wedderburn. He says Trump is mutating really fast. You're right about that. So if y'all don't know who Shane Dawson is, he is a pretty much a widely world-renowned YouTuber. Like, he's probably one of the most popular YouTubers on YouTube right now. And the way I got introduced to Shane Dawson was his conspiracy theory videos. That's how I got introduced to him. And that was like back in like 2015 or something like that. Who would have thought that the guy who was doing these conspiracy theory videos had all this extracurricular, very tacky, very disgusting, very degrading things going on in his background until these last couple of weeks. So basically, it all pretty much got revealed that this guy's not only a racist, but he's also a perv. And I would not be surprised if he is a child molester, because a lot of people are saying that he's a pedophile. Now, the pedophile thing comes from this incident right here. And I think this is what really, really ramped it up. There was a video that got released where he was standing next to a life-size poster or cutout of Willow Smith when she was 11 years old. We're talking about back in her With My Hair days. So you're talking like around 2010, somewhere around that time. And he was jacking off near the poster or near the cutout. Like, the picture is online. Jada and Jaden Smith got wind of that, and he called him out on it. And rightfully so, because that is her daughter and that is his sister. And I think that's what really kicked it all off, was with that whole thing right there. And that's not it all either, because you know when you add an element with like Jeffree Star and he's racist as well, that beauty community that's on YouTube is a very toxic one. It's more fumes flying out of that community than the foundation that they put on their face. And like he's just been caught up in so much controversy lately, and now he has been officially demonetized on YouTube. He had a book that was being hosted at Target. They snatched that down and some other things. My thing is this: with all of this stuff coming out, two things. Why is his channel even still up? And two, why are we just learning about all this stuff now? His channel should have been gone. Should have been gone. But because he's considered to be one of the golden boys of YouTube, they handle him with kid gloves because he brings them money. He brings them views. He brings them eyes. He brings them revenue. The golden people of YouTube are like people like Shane Dawson, PewDiePie, the Paul brothers. And it's crazy. It works like a trinity. Because when things happen with all three of them, something happened. When PewDiePie did what he did, shout out to Happy Go Lucky. When he did what he did back in 2017, and by the way, he's another racist because it's been caught on numerous occasions that he has been saying the N-word with the hard ER when he was playing those games. That's why I said I couldn't be a gamer, because them people are nothing but trolls up in there. He said what he said. He lost a deal with Disney, and he is the reason why the adpocalypse kicked off. People on a widespread level on YouTube ended up being hurt and affected by that, especially if that was their only source of income. Then you had Logan Paul, who went to the suicide forest. Logan Paul went to the suicide forest, and after he got exposed for what he did, that implemented this new policy that in order to become monetized and part of the YouTube Partner Program, you had to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours or something like that before you could even apply. That happened when he did what he did. And that Susan CEO, she's nothing but a hypocrite, because when they asked her about what happened with him, she said she stands by Logan Paul. That's what she said. She says she stands by him, and while at the same time talking about the policies that YouTube has in place. Like, you just completely contradicted yourself. Now, that leads me to what recently happened with Shane Dawson. Now, they haven't come out right and said it, but I question the timing. So what recently happened with, and before I even go on to him, they should have did something to Jake Paul as well, because if y'all remember, he was caught looting at that mall in Arizona, and he actually got charged for it. His channel is still up. But now on to Shane Dawson. I have a feeling that because of what happened with him, first off, they said the commentary community of YouTube, which is actually the community that I guess I would be put in, because that's what I do. Anything that's news-based is considered commentary-based. So that's their sector. They're saying basically that Shane Dawson got exposed through the commentary community of YouTube. Now, notice I have not done one video talking about Shane Dawson. This is my first and probably only time talking about him. And yesterday, yes, if y'all follow me on Twitter, y'all know where I'm headed with this. Yesterday, YouTube did a mass channel demonetization on the commentary community. Anyone care to guess who was affected by that? Put a 1 in the chat if you know who was affected by that. Or put who you think in the chat was affected by that. To name specifically, I was affected by that. To give you another name, Phil, one of his channels got affected by that. His African Diaspora News Insider, or the African Diaspora Insider channel, got affected by that because he did a live stream late last night talking about it. I got affected. I woke up and got an email that said 27 of your videos, and these were videos that I did a while back, got limited ads on it. Mind you, these videos were already confirmed years ago in their old videos. So they just went against their own guidelines and just completely just slashed it right down the middle. And it affected a lot of people. However, before I even started and kicked up this live stream, about a couple hours ago, I actually reached out to the Team YouTube Twitter account. I told them what happened. I gave them a screenshot showing that my monetization was on. Because let me tell you something right now. When you don't have monetization on your channel, or if you have, or you're trying to get it approved and they don't monetize it, not only do you not make money from that and the revenue goes straight to YouTube and whatever other add-ons they have, but it also pushes your video down. So that means that the algorithm can say, this video is not going to get any views, or it won't work unless your notifications are just that good. And that way they can see it. But I reached out to Team YouTube. I told them what happened. I told them my monetization was still on, because technically I'm not demonetized. If y'all can see, my super chat is still on. I said my super chat is still on, my monetization is still on. I reached out to them. I sent them a screenshot of it proving that it's on. They said, okay, we'll go and see what happens and we'll get back to you. About an hour or two later, probably about a good 5 minutes before I kicked on this live stream, they said they fixed it. Now, I haven't gone to check to see if they actually did, but I'm going to check to see after this live stream is done. So basically, they're saying in so many words that we're going to punish the commentary community because they exposed one of our cash cows for being the type of person that he is. That's what I gather. And then they tried to mask it and say that it was a glitch. First off, what kind of a glitch only glitches for one sector of a platform? If it was a true glitch, it would affect everybody. Sort of like how the adpocalypse happened. That happened to everybody. Everyone got affected by that. When they had to do that 1,000 subscribers, 4,000, that affected everybody who didn't have the requirements. This, it only affected certain YouTubers. So it seems to me your glitch was very handpicked. So no, I don't believe it was a glitch. And if it was very intentional. Glitch is like, that's a cop-out. That's all that is. That's a cop-out. I swear, I said when they have these policies and stuff like this, I miss the old YouTube more and more every single day. Back when they had to mail you your AdSense check. I remember the days when they had to mail you the check. They didn't at one time have direct deposit. But because of safety purposes and how people who was delivering the mail, people would steal the mail, and they see that Google thing right then, they check, and they would be stealing people's checks. So they said, nah, we got to do direct deposit now. That's interesting you say that, Monsanto, because Lovely T, she was going in about this, and she was gaining a lot of views. I remember when I happened to go to see one of her live streams and she was talking about this, she had about well over, in real-time viewers, well over 12,000 people watching. That is very long. That's a huge audience for a huge live stream audience to have when you're not a mainstream network. I'm just giving y'all some some information, about what was going on. But they said that they checked everything and they said that everything is back on. So like I said, when I end this live stream, I'm gonna go on there and see if everything is back up. You said 18K? Well, maybe I came and left when it was 12K. It was probably the beginning of the stream. But yeah, she did drive in a lot of traffic when she was talking about this. But it's way more to this whole excuse me, this whole Shane Dawson situation right here. But I'm not gonna go ahead and get into it because, to be quite honest, it's quite exhausting. I just gave y'all the basics. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next story. Oh, we good over here, Sean Scott. Okay, Dr. Dre's wife Nicole Young files for divorce. I'm sure many of you heard about this. After 24 years of marriage, so they got married in what, 96, 97, somewhere around that ballpark range. And he must have loved her so much that he did not sign a prenup. Mm, 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 mm. That's, whew. And they were married for 24 years. And to my knowledge, she's getting half of his fortune. And I think his net worth is like $800 million plus dollars. Dr. Dre, I don't know what to tell you. You should have got that prenup signed. I don't care if you needed a kidney and she was a match and she gave it to you. You still sign that prenup and say, thank you for saving my life. This reminds me of what happened with Jeff Bezos. Because when he got a divorce from his wife, she got half or close to it. Because I think I don't think she got half, but she got a lot. I think they said she got like $42 billion. That hurt my heart. I was like, $42 billion. Oh, with a B. And see, the thing is, because they were married for so long, 24 years, not 2 years, not 4 years, 24 years. All they did was just add up all the years they were married together and the fact that they had some kids. And that's how they came out to this right here. Now, see, the difference between Dr. Dre and Jeff Bezos, I don't think Dre is going to bounce completely back all the way from this unless he has some very good assets set to the side where he can recoup that money. See, where Jeff Bezos is concerned, he is the owner and CEO and founder of one of the biggest online shopping sites, if not the biggest in the world. So him recouping that money was not hard to do, especially during this quarantine period from, what was it, March to about May. I cannot remember the last time people really was promoting Beats by Dre. I think they said that Amazon is going to be like $1 trillion company within the next 10 years. And I said, I can believe it. I can believe it. Yeah, California has some strange laws. California has some weird laws for real. But I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. I mean, I guess he really didn't, quote unquote, marry her for love, I guess. But she is walking away with half. That is a lot of money. Mm. That's gonna. And notice it says that she filed for divorce. Not he filed. She filed. Usually, they always say the person who files has something against the person, and the person who is being filed against, that they, not in all cases, did something to the person who's filing. Which means they are the one who's filing is the one that has the axe to grind. But oh well, good luck. That's all I gotta say. That's one I really wanted to talk about. I was debating whether or not. Shit. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let me go back. I'm not trying to get no subscription. Okay, let me turn this off. Apparently, I can't get onto the site with the blocker on, so I got to turn it off. Let's see here. All right, let me refresh the page. So yet again, it looks like J.K. Rowling has pissed off a certain community for the same thing again. And why is it still on my screen? Oh, this thing is not trying to let me see this. Okay, let me see. Hold on, y'all. So I gotta pull it up in another. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, maybe it's working now. Hopefully it works. It's still rotating. But anyway, it says J.K. Rowling retracts tweet praising Stephen King after he supported transgender women. And man, people were up in arms about that. I'm telling you right now, I got to give it to J.K. Rowling. Not only did she give a very successful film franchise and a very successful book franchise, she stands firmly on her square when it comes to the T class. And they hate her for it. They hate her for it. They even tried to turn her own cast, her own Harry Potter cast against her. That's how desperate they are. So basically what happened is she was having a discussion with Stephen King, who you know is a world-renowned author as well. And he mentioned that he supported T-class women, and J.K. Rowling, she went back and deleted every single tweet that they had in a discussion with him. I said at that point, you might as well just have unfollowed and blocked them on Twitter, if that was the case. Because they are so upset, they are so up in arms that she does not support the T class. They call her, transphobic, all the usual stuff, but she just letting that roll off her back. Like, she doesn't care. Besides, most of the people that's criticizing her already bought all her books, and they probably seen all the movies, so she already got your money. She got your money back from 2001 to 2012, which was the years of the Harry Potter film releases. I swear the delusionary, and that's probably a made-up word, that goes on in that community is insanity defined. They be mad at her. They be pissed off at her. They keep saying they're gonna cancel her. And the thing, here's the funny thing: when I'm on Twitter, if I see her trending on Twitter, I already know it's about this every time. When I click on her name, it has something to do with her pissing off that community. And speaking of the T class, there was some strange article that I came across where they are now going to do something called womb transplants, which basically takes the womb of a dead woman and transplants it into a T class person so they can give birth. What's so wild about this is that I saw this coming. I actually kind of heard about it, actually, them doing womb transplants so they can have children. Now, we're talking about biologically born men who now choose to live their lives as a woman, getting the womb of a dead woman to be transplanted and implanted into them so they can have kids. At least that's what I'm gathering. Like, I swear that community has a battle with science every single day. They have a battle with biology every single day. It doesn't make any sense. Like they literally are going that they're literally taking, well, first off, they're already being a science project, getting, the operation. But this is taking it a step further. Like, how would you feel if you had the womb of a dead person inside you just so you can have a child? Like, how does that work? I'm so confused. Like, I don't know how any of that works. And the thing is, I don't think I want to find out. All I'm saying is, y'all can go against science all you want, but at the end of the day, it won't work. You got to question, you got to ask yourself, why do they keep doing all of this stuff right here? Because they're not satisfied. They're not satisfied with what it is. They can try and try and try, but it's not going to work. And to this day, I still question how and why did the World Health Organization remove them out of that book and replace them with gaming. I still, to this day, for the life of me, cannot figure that concept out. Let me move on to the next story. Now, this story did not get that much traction. I actually heard about it on Instagram through Trey Songz' page because he lives in Virginia and that's what it's happened at. I think it happened in Richmond. It says alleged KKK member who shot daughter's black boyfriend freed on a $500 bail. And they said a petition has been started to upgrade the charges to a federal crime. And this is him right here. His name is Patrick Creek Jr. Now, he says his reasoning of shooting the boyfriend was self-defense. Let's break this down. And it doesn't take hard, it won't take long to do. This guy is an alleged Klan member. His daughter, who is white, is dating a boy who is black. Shot him in the back. And he claims it was self-defense. He's freed on a $500 bail. and he wasn't hit with any hate crime charges. Let's see. Klan member, hate crime charges. Shot black boy because he was dating his white daughter. They must think we stupid. Listen, we know why he shot that boy. We know why. He took a major risk dating this white girl whose dad was an alleged Klan member. That's a new one. Now people are going to say, was this a setup from the girl? Because he knows of her dad's ways. And she went outside of the bounds anyway. And whoever said it reminds him of Get Out, I would have to agree. Because that played out almost the same exact way as in that movie. Now, it says the boyfriend did survive. He was seriously injured, but he did live. He didn't kill him. It said he was charged with malicious wounding and the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony from the incident which took place in June, which was last month. They said that he has to go to court on August 21st. They said he got into an argument with the daughter's boyfriend. He claims the boyfriend threatened him multiple times and pointed a gun at him and his daughter. And then that's when he says he shot at the victim's car multiple times in defense of himself and his daughter. Now, that's according to him. But I'm going to just be honest. Oh, God. Look whose name popped up here. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump. You know that means now he's going to try to attach himself to this case, right? He's going to try to attach himself to this case. Yeah, but that's the thing. He got a $500 bail for what would be considered attempted murder, but that's not what he was charged with. He wasn't even charged with attempted murder. Charged with malicious wounding and the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. No attempted murder. Shoot, had the boy actually died, he most likely wouldn't have even gotten murder charges. If that's the charge they're going to get him for what should have been attempted murder. Yes, I noticed that Crump never wins a case, and I'm still mad about him for dropping the Kia Crawford's family because their family, because their daughter, their loved one, wasn't killed by a white male. I'm still mad about that. Let me move on to this story right here. And I'm sure that y'all probably heard about this one right here. Okay. Suspect knocks out Alexandria police officer. Suspect and companions in jail. Now, it should say was in jail because they're actually no longer in jail. Now, in case y'all aren't familiar with this story here, this is the one that, if y'all saw the video, it went viral where the cop had grabbed this guy's hair and he basically gave him like a good 2 hits and, laid him out on the ground and kept on hitting him. But if you watch Tariq, he actually broke down the entire situation. So basically what happened, he and a friend were skating, like they were like on skateboards. The friend had got injured and they went to the hospital. They didn't let him and a friend go into the hospital for whatever, well, I think we can pretty much guess why. For whatever reason. Then the people in the hospital called the police or whatever because they said it was a disturbance of some sort of the nature like that. Then one of the friend had got put into cuffs, and that was the one that you saw sitting onto the ground. And then you had this guy right here, who the cop had grabbed him by his hair, and when he got enough room and space, he swung on him and laid him out right there on the ground. And then that's when everybody wanted to rush this guy and everything like that. People were saying after he hit him, he should have took off. He should have took flight. Now, they ended up charging him They said that now his name is Jonathan Rose. They said that they got him, Elijah McCall, and Jenna Fowler. They said they was arrested after assaulting the officer. Let's see here, because they said it was something about some music. It always is about some music. They said they charged him with trespassing, remaining after forbidden, aggravated resisting a police officer with force or violence, attempting disarming a peace officer, and second-degree battery. But anyway, if y'all didn't know, Tariq actually raised some money to actually get him out of jail. So currently he is a free man. But I think that he still has to go to court and everything because of the charges. And I think Tariq said that his bail was at $75,000. Yeah, I think they said his bail was at $75,000. So at 10%, that's roughly around $7,500. But I have to commend him though, because I saw that video so many times last week, and it put a smile on my face each and every time I saw it. Now, see what Tariq did. That's called being on code. Now I have one more story. I actually have two more, but the last I'm gonna just talk about because for some reason I can't pull the video up. If y'all follow Lisa Cabrera, you saw she did a video about this. It says video: angry mob surrounds father and children driving in Spokane Valley. So this is in Spokane, Washington. Basically, what happened is you had this dad, there's a black father and his daughter get into a car. They're trying to leave. Then you have this meth-induced Hills Have Eyes trailer park trash come at him and claiming that he was still in their car. And the woman looked like she only had like one or two teeth. And it was like literally surrounding their car. Like they just came out of nowhere, like in droves. It was like 4 or 5 of them. Now, if you look at the picture right here, this is a image of one of the guys. He just like literally sat on the hood. Like he was trying to drive away. And I'm sorry, they would have just been on the pavement. If I had my child with me, I would have just said, just turn your head. And I would have just, hey, that's probably what I would have done. And they were trying to like open up the door and everything. And this one right here got on the hood of the car and was like riding on the hood. Like they literally bought their trailer park antics to this family. Traumatized the girl. Like the girl was scared. She was scared out of her mind. Like she was screaming. She was crying. Like she didn't know what to do. And then when they were driving, they put the camera back. They're following them on their motorcycles. Like I'm talking about straight up hickish. They came out like zombies and looked like zombies too. Looked like some meth heads, especially that woman, the one that claimed that he stole her car. She claimed that he stole her car. If you look at how they looked, you can tell that they couldn't even afford a red wagon. But what's so crazy about this story is the video went viral very recently. But the incident itself happened back in March. It happened, this article that I'm looking at with this video, it says March 4th. You're talking about right before the virus took a hold. And we're just now seeing this now. I'm thinking that this just recently happened. I'm thinking that it happened this week. And I don't know if the dad was carrying or not, but had he been, he would have had grounds to light them up like a Christmas tree. Now, I don't know what actually came of this meth mob, because that's what I'm calling them. I don't know what came of them, but send them back to their canteen. Exactly, Sean from the Shy. You gotta stay strapped, because he would have had grounds to shoot them if he had his gun. If he had a gun on, I don't know if he did, if he didn't, but if he did, he would have had grounds to do so. Because I don't think either one of them was armed. Because if they were, they would have pulled the gun on him, and he did. And me personally, he had the opportunity to run them over. Like, he had the perfect opportunity to do so. Because let me tell you something: when this one right here got on the hood of that car and he started driving while he was holding onto the hood, I would have cranked up the speed and slammed on that brake and watched him fly forward. Now, what I see, one of two things would have happened. I would have either cranked up the speed and hit the brake really hard that he flew forward into another car, or I would have cranked up the speed if there was no car in front of me and sped up and hit the brake so hard that he flew into oncoming traffic. Like on some Grand Theft Auto type stuff. And as for the one behind me who was on that motorcycle, I would have just slammed on the brakes and watched him just crash into the back of the car and then just kept going. That's what I would have done, especially since he's driving a car. Like, what's more powerful, that car he was driving or that motorcycle? Who was more powerful, his lanky meth-induced body or the hood of that car? Now, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about on video to bring it up so I could talk about it, but I'll talk about it because it's something I remember it just based on what I saw. There was a video that someone had sent me through Instagram, and I can't pull it up right now, that was in Richmond, Virginia, where they pretty much got exposed. A lot of people said, thanks for the driving instructions. No problem. You know, they're not going to teach you that in driving school. But there was a video that was sent to me. It was about almost 10 minutes long. And it came out of Richmond, Virginia. And the caption said, KKK members disguised as cops. And basically what happened was you had these Klan members. And remember, we've always said that they gave up their hoods to go into law enforcement, be judges, lawyers, doctors, whoever, just kind of blend in with society. And they were basically, first off, they weren't even cops. They had these vests on, and the vests I don't think had anything to do with the Richmond police or whatever police department that was. So people in the community was like, something doesn't seem right here. And to make a long story short, many people believe that those people were snatching. Oh, that was you, Jameson? All right, appreciate it. They believe that they are the ones that were involved with snatching up some of these black men and, hanging them. Not saying that they did it, but they believe that some of them like that are out there and they're the ones that's doing it. As a matter of fact, there was another video, and I think that was out of Ohio, that I saw on Twitter, and it was a very short video where they were driving around in this dark truck, and they just kind of snatched this guy, this black man, off the street, threw him into the truck, and drove off. While you had the police driving behind them with the sirens on, almost like they were an escort. And they did it right there. It was at night where people were around. I said if they could do that, then people really need to keep their eyes open when it comes to stuff like with Chicago and how they say, oh, this stuff is going on in Chicago and all this type of stuff like that. They need to keep their eyes peeled when that kind of things happen. Because when they found like these black men hanging and stuff like that, and they try to say it was suicide, none of us are believing that story. None of us. I wish I could have pulled up that video because I know mainstream media is not going to talking about nobody. And y'all know what this weekend is. This weekend is the 4th, so you already know they got their Chicago, all these shootings that happen in Chicago. You know they got their lines lined up, and you got the silly Negroes that's going to fall for it yet again when it comes to this. They probably got the stories already written. They got the stories already typed up and ready to print and post on the internet. On their websites, on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook. They got it ready to go. And I'm gonna talk about it because, like I told you in my last video when I was addressing this, they are going. I said I will see you on the 4th. I will see you on the 4th or that weekend, and we're gonna discuss it. The lies that they're gonna roll out. I wonder how many they gonna say is going to be, because when it comes to the 4th, they really go in on that one. Shout out to Solo Doses. Keep your head on the swivel for the 4th of July. I almost read that wrong. I almost read it as Julie. But let's see. They're probably gonna say it was 50 people shot, 20 murdered. There's gonna be some kids involved, and no suspects. That's what I predict. We're gonna say 50 were shot, 20 were killed, there were some kids involved, and there's no suspects. Wouldn't that be funny if that's what they came out with, or if I'm dangerously close to what they claim is going to be? I'm curious. I can't wait. When Monday comes, I'm going to immediately just go type Chicago in, because all you got to do is type in Chicago. Just type Chicago into the Google search bar and wait and see what comes up. I might have to, if I do it as a video, it probably won't go up until Tuesday, because my lineup for Monday is already going to be up. Exactly, laughing stock. What about black on black crime? Oh, that's the other one. They love to say, oh, all these shootings happen in Chicago. Not only now are they saying what about black on black crime, but they're now saying, where's Black Lives Matter? When they say that, I want to laugh so hard, because it's like, if y'all knew the mission statement of BLM, you would know why they're not there. That's why when they ask that, I shake my head and laugh. That's why also when I talk about like Chicago, I always like to get my input from my Chicago subscribers, because they're not gonna steer me wrong. Like, they're not gonna say, they're gonna pretty much give me the truth. Like, that stuff that they're talking about is very overinflated. Remember, this is the same Chicago where they put that bait truck out there, that Nike bait truck, where they were expecting the black people that lived in that area to go in, to that truck. But the older men in that neighborhood exposed them. This is the same Chicago where they put crates of guns in alleyways, hoping that the black people there would pick it up and just start shooting each other. Lately, the only thing people have been shooting is these Roman candles. Lately, that's what they've been shooting. Right Hood Mistress, Baltimore is their other scapegoat. Exactly, Tanju. What about it? They never like to talk about that. They make it seem like so-called black on black crime is just some phenomenon that just has to be paraded around. But you know what's going to be interesting, though? because nobody celebrates the 4th quite like palm color. And this year they're gonna be extremely restricted, mainly due to the woo-woo. Like many of them can't go to the beach, they can't go to the park like they want to. They're gonna be restless and might end up becoming reckless. Remember, they tried to do the whole black on black crime thing with Juneteenth. They were like, dang, we just gave them Juneteenth as a holiday and already they messing up. Let's not forget how a lot of these holidays got started, like the 4th of July. A lot of these holidays got started on war, death, murder, destruction, rape. Juneteenth, however, did not get started on that. Seems to me Juneteenth is one of the most righteous holidays. Shoot, MLK didn't even get started on that. If you want to be truthful. But you know what? It is what it is. And I'm going to go ahead and get on off of here because I think I'm done for the day. As a matter of fact, I am. That was the last thing I wanted to talk about. But shout out to everybody that has come through. Shout out to everybody who supported. Shout out to everybody that donated. Shout out to all new subscribers. Shout out to anybody who's going to follow me on Twitter. Like I said, make sure to follow me on Twitter because if the notifications don't work and they don't send them out, you can always be on Twitter because that's the first place I'm going to post my videos or live streams. And shout out again to Solo Dolo to B1 family. Videos back in rotation tomorrow, as usual, for a day. Gonna have another awesome lineup of commentaries to give. Y'all go ahead and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Try to stay cool because it is hot outside. And I will talk to you in the next one.